Swaziland has been charged with 22 counts of murder. The truck he was driving wiped out a car and 4 taxis in Pinetown on the 6th of September this year. The brakes of the truck apparently failed. The collision shocked South Africa as details of flattened vehicles, bloodied victims and a graphic video emerged. The owner of the truck appealed for calm and to allow investigations to be completed. Now, it was revealed during a visit to the accident scene by the acting president, Jeff Radebe, and the KZN Transport MEC, Mr. Willis Mchunu, that the license of the truck had also expired. Let's take a look at this background insert.
That plowed into 4 mini taxis and a vehicle, killing more than 23 civilians, has caused a major outcry in the country. The KZN acting premier, Sanele Mchunu, is going to the extent of banning trucks on Fields Hill, M13 and Richmond Roads in Pinetown, KwaZulu-Natal.
If we are required that we ban the trucks on that particular route, we definitely will. It is definitely one of the things that we are looking at.
The case against May was postponed to October the 8th after his new lawyer, Professor Mdleje, told the court that the new evidence has been given to the prosecution. It was not revealed in court what this information was, and the matter was postponed for a formal bail application.
Thank you very much for that background insert. Gentlemen, my biggest concern with such graphic visuals is the media going overboard in showing us the real things as they happen. I mean, what happened to sensitivity, especially when you see the flattened cars, the bloodied victims? Is media taking that into account? What about innocent children?
Look, I think by its nature, it's terrible. Mm-hmm. And obviously, you know, it all depends on how the media, by telling the story, which pictures they choose to use there. But I think some kind of sensitivity needed to be sort of really put in place and choose the pictures very, very carefully, because it's a very emotional story indeed. Very sad to what happened there.
Yes, but I don't think they've gone overboard on this, because this is simply an horrific accident of enormous dimensions. I don't think I've ever heard of an accident of this kind in the numbers of people who were killed and injured taking place in South Africa. Certainly, it may appear as if the media sensationalized it, but I wouldn't think so. I think the maximum amount of information about this accident is required. And I noticed today that, in fact, in one of the papers, there's an investigation. The paper investigated the numbers of times that truck had been stopped by the traffic officers for either poor wheels, poor tyres, or other deficiencies, which indicates that the inquiry should not only extend to the driver and the driver's conduct in driving the vehicle, but in the ownership of the vehicle and what steps were taken by the owners to ensure that the vehicle was roadworthy.
Yes.
I think Raymond is making a very good point. You know, it is true that well, something very bad happened here, but obviously as the owner, surely when you hire someone, you need to find out exactly, I mean, if indeed they have the correct, you know, documentation. Of course, amongst other things that are mentioned here, it's his driver's license as to whether it's valid or not. But surely, these are not things to investigate when something like this has already happened. But the media, again, I think these are some of the things they need to be delving deeper into. Yeah.
All right.
Well, the question that arises, you know, that the chap apparently had a document which indicated that he was qualified to drive such a truck, but now the claim is that that's a fraudulent document. But one would have thought that before an owner entrusted a truck of that value and size to a driver, he would have ensured himself that the documentation was in order, but not only that the person had the experience to enable him to drive that truck. There seems to be, from all the stories that have emerged, that in fact he was an inexperienced driver.
Let's go to Professor Garside. Professor, do you feel that the media has been biased in reporting this, mainly focusing on the driver and not on the owner of that vehicle?
No, I think this landscape on this horrific tragedy is changing. The media, I think, so much is coming out, and blame games are being played between the owner and the driver. I believe that yesterday a truck belonging to the same company was stopped and the brakes were found to be deficient, and the roadworthy certificate was not in order. So this story is getting worse and worse. It's exploding. To get back to the earlier point you were raising about the media, I saw this horrific accident on new media, on Yahoo video, and I was just completely shocked. So I think that a lot of people would have seen this accident on YouTube or on the new media. So the problem with the media then is if they're going to be sensitive about it, they know already that people have seen these accidents or seen this footage on the new media. And also interesting on the new media, I've looked at the comments that people have posted on sites like News24, and it seems like ordinary South Africans, both black and white, are not being taken in by the stories and are very, very angry and very sad about what has happened. But one good little piece of news, if I could just add this, is that they had a very touching ceremony on the actual site with prayer and protest against the lorries, and I saw the video for that, and that was very moving.
All right, thank you very much, Professor. Now, Raymond, you've dealt with issues of the press ombud. If somebody was to take this up to the press ombud, would this be a relevant case to say that, sensitive viewers might have been affected in the graphic of the images?
Well, no. First of all, the press ombudsman would not deal with the videos. That's dealt with by the Broadcast Complaints Commission. Okay. And so the press ombudsman wouldn't fit into that story. If an accusation of that kind was made against a newspaper, it would be taken to the press ombudsman. But I doubt whether it would, in fact, have much leverage on that institution. It's very difficult to decide whether there was a lack of sensitivity by a newspaper in publishing a story of a crash. That's a very subjective view.
I mean, we saw the train accident in Spain as well, and it was very, very graphic as well.
Sure.
Anything you want to add?
Yeah, sure. I think Raymond is making a good point. Surely the press ombudsman in this regard will not be involved at all. But obviously, as I said before, the usage of pictures, again by the press, obviously it's something that one really need to think twice about it before you actually put some of these pictures.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. We have to leave it there for now. I'd like to thank my studio guest, Chamani Makadi from TUT, as well as Raymond Lowe, the chairperson of Media Institute of South Africa. Gentlemen, thank you very much. You've been very insightful. Don't forget that you can contact us on this number that will appear at the bottom of your screens. That is +27 11 714 681. There's the numbers on your screen. Don't go away.